Hello? Hi. Welcome, nerds and allies of nerds. Thank you so much for coming. You are now here for the second half of the 51st annual Poetry Project Marathon. Let's hear it for everybody who's here and read already. Let's hear it for them. We have an incredible hour for you, amazing people. We have talent scouts from HBO and Bravo here. We're very interested in poetry. It's profitable. Okay, and there was a protest today organized by the Palestinian Youth Movement, and it was called New Year, Same Struggle, right? So this over here, these stairs, you're gonna say new. And over here, you're gonna say year, okay? And then you're gonna say same. And then the stairs over there, you're gonna say struggle. And then after that, we're all gonna say free Palestine, right? Okay, so, new. One more time! Okay, may it be so. Next up, we have Jordan Tannahill. Jordan Tannahill is a playwright who lives just right down the street. Please welcome Jordan.
Here you go. Mind games? Yeah, thank you so much, Ella. Thank you so much. What's your name? What? Elmo. Okay. It's here for Elmo. Woo! I don't know if any of you happen to notice this in the last couple of days. There was a news story that was circulating that Elon Musk wants to buy Wikipedia for $1 billion. Yes, I know. He already owns our digital commons, and now he wants to own our digital encyclopedia. So that kind of set me down a bit of a Wikipedia wormhole, and I discovered that every day editors of Wikipedia delete hundreds of articles written by anonymous contributors all over the world. Articles which were deemed too obscure and unnecessary to warrant inclusion in our collective digital memory, and were thus erased from the public record. What follows is a select, alphabetized inventory of deleted Wikipedia articles. Things that we're not meant to know. Apeism, a history of ape worship. Are there levels in dance? Question mark. Arm hair fetishism. Assassins of the 1400s. Baby born with penis on its back. Being saddled with a bad husband. Bucocracy. Burying your brother in the pavement. Call this a cry for help. Circles appearing randomly on shirts. Collapse of the United States. Cure for fangirlism. Death jazz. Debated questions regarding the procreation and existence of certain Narnian creatures. Disney FBI warnings. Dying with your pants off. Earthquakes. Will the weight of the city affect earthquake size? Erotically shaped plants. Everything, in brackets, everything. Evil pig, evil trees, evil tutorial, extreme accounting, feeling like you don't fit in, 5 clicks to Jesus, 5-pound electron, 5 stolen dollars. Friends are good, sometimes. Gaping anus, goat tongue, god of the gays, guy who never existed. How old are cars? How to get high, how to stop a hurricane. List of peaceful wars, list of people famous for singing badly, list of people who, from other walks of life who are also pilots, list of people who are ready for woe and how we know this, list of people without names, list of places that have been called an armpit, list of things the cat dragged in, list of world leaders whose names are anagrams for their domains, Neolithic child rearing, putting salt on a snail, rectal anarchy, the difference between yellow-green and green-yellow. The dog dies at the end. The floor is lava. The life that is very good. The power to destroy. The problem of defining sanity. The whale shark is only a visitor. They cut down the old pine tree. things that do not exist for a reason. Transcendental hayride, unrestricted grammar, vampire state building. What are the uses and abuses of cinema? What is mathematics, really? Where did I come from? Which Backstreet Boy is gay? You can't see me move, you idiot. You know you have no life when. You'll get your rent when you fix this damn door. You're a bird. You've got to have a dream. If you don't have a dream, how are you going to have a dream to make it come true? Thank you.
Next up, I am very honored to bring up one of America's sweethearts, Niall Jones, who is an artist and teacher working within a constellation of curiosities, obsessions, and practices that move sound, text, photography, and video through dance and performance. Join me in welcoming Niall Jones.
Today's my mother's birthday. Today is my mother's birthday, January 1st, 1954, Gloria Jean Jackson Jones. This is, I don't know, for her, to her, with her. I'm thinking of her and my sister Nadia and my grandmother Edith. And the powerful women who raised me. Friday has been coming for a few days now. A veritable ending to a series, a chain of imminent events. Today is, I am. Today is, before the year is done, before 2015, before 2025, before my mother's 71st birthday, before my sister calls to remind me to repent, before I forget again to take the cat to the vet, before all of that stupid mail arrives, before I procrastinate doing my taxes, before I ruminate on how the fuck I plan to make money in the approaching summer, before I put together a mediocre syllabus, before the students stare at me and ignore said syllabus, before I am eliminated from this world, forget it. Rehearse, make music, dance, read, anything, eat the readings, what's quicker, oral, visual, anal, readings for group meetings. He has a great ass. Make a blog, parts needed for forget about it, forgotten, forget it, forming, entry and beginnings open, sound, entering space from wherever, not in a dejected or a creepy way, but more of a deliberate access to space, place as made, self, collective invitations, a vocally jumbled body, a call for disorganization, sharp tectonic shifts with yelpy screams, multiple shifts with the incredulously repetitive yelps, then dance the dance of meta disappearance, fawning, coming, splitting, spitting, impersonating, counter-occupy, approach 3 times, fake the following. I know. This is nothing more than a re-decomposition, a contaminated assemblage of citations and deformations, a grossly incomplete record, if not a contemplation on sociality. The text itself is a score, a grounding, a lifting for action. But who Were we watching? Yeah, this is a slow text. Mother, my mother, mother, other, mother, like a moth to a flame burned by the fire. I asked my mother about it, and she said you should get some sleep. Simone White wrote that. Laid, layered, LOL. This motherfucker has hereby floated, and people are in no way upset. Simone White wrote that too. Take up more or less space. You can't is not. You can't because you won't. The artist's time-based time suggests the insides, distances, outsides, blurred edges, and unindividuated images, clamps, fans, tarp, plexi, paint, or this idea of structure, but I love when I can just be free, situate a fall into a place, geologic, oceanic, turbulent, embrace discomfort as relational praxis, catch January, structure a dance, fit, misfit this dance in space, place a body in this space, in attire, lighting, sound. Well, yes, but fuck me now. Fuck me now. The words are fucking me, forsaking me, and I am left to scramble and reassemble all the parts that are no longer bonded. But I can also not do that. Parts don't always need gluing. Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you, Niall. Happy birthday to your mom. Next up, we have a Pisces legend coming to the stage. I'm going to be honest about this. We have T. Lax, okay? T. Lax is a New York-based writer and curator who works closely with living artists and other collaborators. Please join me in welcoming T. Lax to the stage.
Can we please hear it for our MC, Morgan Bassichis? Happy wife, happy life. It's wonderful to see some people that I know very well, and if I don't know you well, I hope to meet you after. This is called Undisclosed Address. I was pretty sure I had arrived at the building number you had sent me, but looked for your silver van for confirmation I was in the right place. The storefront had two entrances. One was painted with the address's number, a second had a retractable garage door. This was my first time on this cobblestone street, cut off from the rest of Manhattan on its eastern side by the exit to the Holland Tunnel. How refreshing, I thought, that there were still stretches of this island I had never been down, despite having lived here my entire life. I opened my phone to make sure I had followed the instructions from your calendar invite and looked, admittedly for the first time, at the message in your note. Visits are designed for you to come and be alone in the space. This is a closed group of friends and family, so please don't forward or share info, but if you'd like to bring or suggest someone for a visit, please let me know. I found your van parked a few cars ahead of the building and walked up, instinctively wanting to chat before looking. Jason was in the front driver's seat, and you were in the power chair in the cabin, wearing a beanie that covered your new haircut, a cute buzz, which I knew about because you had sent me a selfie. In the pic, you were smiling. Now you were drinking tea to keep warm in the January chill. Jason offered me some. I told you both about a performance I had gone to the weekend before. I was a fan and was trying to put into words how it had managed to critique the white audience's reactions to the black performer's physicality without presuming how anyone would respond. You helped give me language for this expectation and release of expectation. Yeah, that's it, I told you. We compared our grocery lists for the recipes we were planning on making during the week ahead. Red beans, red cabbage, jalapeno, avocados. I made my way into the exhibition, alone, past the retractable garage door. Your work was clustered at the front of the space, which had 3/4-length mirrors on one side. On the other side, a dozen plus printed and framed emails were hung on a horizon line, organized into 4 clusters. The sequence of subject lines suggested an unfolding narrative, beginning with, "These are the questions I would ask," then some follow-up questions, before synthetic questions, and lastly, involuntary questions. Each email was formatted as a list devoid of content. "These are the questions I would ask," for example, began with, "Which patient lift is more comfortable in moving a patient?" and ended with, "Which lift allows you to sit at the table and eat with family?" This first set's tone was pragmatic, logistical, the types of questions one would ask to get out of a hospital or facility. The second set of questions moved from there, filling with desire, opening to more uncertain reference. Did a metal smell remain on Jason's hands? Would swinging longer be fun? What else is fun? Questions about minimizing discomfort let loose onto curiosity for the intensities of sensation, smell of metal, touch from hands, a swing's proprioception, and longing, longer please. None of these questions included punctuation of any kind, as if they didn't require an answer, or rather, as if the response might be given in the reading of the question. Fun, the printout suggested, came through figuring it out, sometimes alone in this space. Happy New Year.
Next up, please join me in welcoming Mohammed, Zenia, Siddiq, Yusef, Ibrahim. Their most recent book is Black Wittgenstein. Go ahead and give it up for Mohammed.
Hi. This is a new poem. I wrote it this afternoon. It's called 2025 Isn't Gonna Be Your Year. Still sunless, death radiates the timelines, like the future is hungry. Cicadas flare themselves punishment from the Bible. Wheat witnessed Chernobyl but broke its strength. Not wilted but purgatory silence. Reality itself slowly recedes from the history. We beg bombs pardons, a gun is an eyesore, an ellipsis between epochs or a headache. Spraying like sky over a desk like a wounded mare, Mark jerks off to the siren song of the UN. Every day an echo lights oasis. Other words hover erotic dreams, shopping spree. Now even stars sign heart over apocalypse. God seems too kind to consider. Rather, what it is we're destined is boredom. We stare into the madness like a snow globe. Maybe we sing the door lullaby freedom, but rather as others die helpless. In Gears and Gaza, but now Beirut, Kamal, Lampur, and Damascus, you just assume that so-and-so has entered the race of the Shadeen. But you won't die. You'll never die. Time still goes on. The jail still sings its frequencies telegraph murder as a floodplain drains the South. In 100 years, will the musical South Pacific have any meaning? Or New York? Or even New York, or even poetry for that matter. Still looking for worship, the same letter was sealed, so brilliant lips like a kiss. In 100 years there will be no nations, no words but liberation or death. And 100 years ago Mohammed didn't matter. 100 years later she won't matter either. But body and death is more than freedom, spirit, or justice. You stake your life on a few things. A little home, a good time, small comforts, weed, the trafficus, a lamb gyro. Once there was love, and like all things we disappear. Every year is shit, maybe the worst one, and in that, there's something like life. Thank you.
Next up, I'm so honored to call to the stage Rachel Levitsky, who has been, yes, give it up for Rachel, who has been working on a memoir without memory for longer than she can remembers. It's called Rachel Levitsky Has No Problems. Please put your hands together for Rachel Levitsky.
From a letter to Vidu, October 20, 2024. For some months, I've been in 3 times a week psychoanalysis. I wonder if this practice hasn't en fait replaced my orientation toward Buddhism and Dhamma, which had been rich for me and helpful in approaching Jewishness, a confusing identification of pleasure and illegibility. I have been thinking about unseen forces again, those I wrote about previously, as something worthy of attention and useful, but not political, often mistaken as political. I quoted Thich Nhat Hanh's discussion of store consciousness that collects everything we move through, including before our birth. I like store consciousness. It requires no excavation, divination, or associational utterances on the couch, and yet here I am, finding new ways of telling story, using language and its aleatory rhymes, echoes, collisions as an outline to exist, at least for the duration of the practice. Sometimes when I am speaking from the couch, repeating something, I think that everything I say is a repetition because I am wired to repeat my ways of being and thinking, like, for example, the story about how hard it has been for me to feel cared for and held meaningfully in this life. I watch the bottom fall out of my speech by suddenly seeing face, body, full expression of the person I am talking about, and my memory of the expression of the other is also speaking. I am simultaneously hearing what I myself am saying, by which I mean repeating to the out-of-sight shrink, and seeing this other in my memory and hearing myself speaking and repeating in the present moment. 2 separate things on that couch conflate. I get taken over by how inside I am my own container and its limit, and I'm offered a reprieve, a chance to let go of the sense of the problem because of this newly facilitated seeing of another. I'm forced to, if not change my story, at least sort of stop and shut the fuck up. Sukkot, a story. My love and I, exhausted by factors, her new job, my new Lyme disease, her accident 2 weeks ago, thank God she is fine, went anyway to our favorite occasional restaurant in Woodstock, Red Onion. We share everything, a salad, half bottle of wine, Brussels sprouts, and steak frites, a little unga pache, which means maximalist, messy, abundant chimichurri, braised broccoli rabe. We order dessert too, the pot de creme, pot of chocolate cream, something love makes well, and as I spoon the first bit into automatic mouth, I begin to register something is happening at the round family table in front of us. Love's back to it, my face in it. They are having a loud conversation, animated storytelling, a recent birthright trip by the 2 trippy, hippie young male musicians at the table. Birthright is free trips to encourage Aliyah, instant Jewish citizenship to Israel. It's hard for me to listen. It's all I take in. Even as the dessert is entering my automatic mouth, is it really so loud? It's proud. 100-year-old propaganda. The young man excitedly parroting all the things I was served during my years of Zionist initiation. How Arabs, no nation name allowed for Palestinians, were mere passers-by. How Jewish migrant ingenuity made a barren land fertile. How idealistic and noble is the Israel project, like liberation, like love. I could not help myself. I began to holler, genocide! I thought, this is what you are treating as normal for a loud conversation here. Well, here is what I consider normal for a loud conversation here. And peppered my geschrei, that means blood-curdling scream with loud descriptions of the sanctioned destruction of Palestinian life and livelihood and stolen land in the West Bank and walls and one life for Jews and a deranged oppression for Palestinians, of cosmetic surgery on one side of the hospital and amputating women, children, and men's kidnapped arms and legs held too long with too tight plastic cuffs on the other. together, of drummed up bloodlust, of the expanding destruction and genocide, 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 and nothing was happening. Their conversation ongoing, joyous. Israel's a miracle. Genocide, genocide. I don't think they hear me. I get louder and louder and no one hears. Business continues as usual. The food gently served while I'm still getting louder. Love signs away her name for the indulgence. Suddenly, this 30-something dignified woman at the round table between the old couple and the trippy hippies gets up and declares, I have never in my life. And this is not the place. And you could have come over and spoken to us. And this is our family meal. And I'll talk about anything. I have negotiated, she said, with Palestinians. I work in DEI, she said. I dated a Palestinian, she said. I deflated, relieved to be finally able to stop. I crumpled, perceiving her, apologized for robbing them of their peace. I'm truly sorry, I said. But genocide, all day and all night long, and no, maybe yes, maybe no, I don't know anything about genocide, but DEI, it's Indigenous Peoples Day. Don't you think birthright is a settler colonial project? No, genocide. All I can think about, see, it's where I come from. Can't sleep in ideal land grab. Safety for some. Red Onion or Israel, where you and I sponsor a genocide that doesn't register. We're according to dream it, those unnamed to be eliminated, and those who resist did not, will not exist. Let's all recall and call that Palestine will be free. Happy New Year.
Next up, please join me in welcoming Ryan Sawyer, who Ryan likes stuff and loves that we're all here to heal. I will say personally, I'm here to get laid, but I'm glad everybody else is here to heal. Okay, great. Please join me in welcoming Ryan Sawyer.
Thanks. Hey, all right, this song is for you. I didn't write it, but it's for you. Nothing round here that's sacred except you. Yeah, you. Nothing here to me that matters except you. Yeah, you. You're the one that reaches me, you're the one that I admire. Every time we meet together, I feel like I'm on fire. Nothing matters to me, and there's nothing I desire except you. Yeah, you. Nothing round here I care to try for. Except you. Yeah, you. Got nothing here to live or die for. Except you. Yeah, you. There's a hymn I used to hear in the churches all the time. Makes me feel so good inside, so peaceful, so sublime. And there's nothing that reminds me of that old familiar rhyme, except you. Yeah, you. Used to run in the cemetery and dance and run and sing when I was a child. And it never seemed strange. But now I just pass mournfully by that place where the bones of life are piled. I know something has changed. I'm a stranger here, and no one sees me except you. Yeah, you. Nothing anymore seems to please me except you. Yeah, you. Nothing hypnotizes me or holds me in its spell. Everything runs by me just like water from a well. Everybody wants my attention. Everybody's got something to sell. Except you. Yeah, you. I'm in love with you. Thanks.
Next up, we have Yoshiko, Chuma, and Dane Terry on piano. Cutting-edge choreographer, director, instigator, movement explorer, and performer Yoshiko Chuma continues a lifetime obsession with the mythology of danger. Landing in New York in 1976, Chuma settled in Lower Manhattan. Devoid of the culture and inflation and inflammation you see now. Yoshiko managed to begin her career in Lower Manhattan, spanning an impressive 45-year career to date, crossing physical and metaphorical borders. Chuma has placed herself in danger's way for the sake of art. She has crossed the border between East and Central Europe in the early 80s and to 90s, the border to Palestine for over 10 years since 2005, the border between Albania and Kosovo in 2007, the border to Afghanistan in 2014, and the border to Maracaibo, Venezuela in 2014, among many more. Forbidden realms for some, but centers of creation for Chuma, these visits challenge preconceived ideas of danger and have brought about some of the most beautiful experiences. Chuma intentionally confuses documentation with history, recreating segments from her documented events. Project after project, year after year, she upends conventional notions of dance and disrupts accepted characteristics of performance.
I don't use. I should not talk, right? Dane Terry. I should not talk, but I objected. Don't tell me. Happy New Year, you know? That's American English. Don't tell me. Happy New Year. All the dancers, School of Hammad, thank you.
Please join me in welcoming our next performer, John Coletti, who is always working and changing the light from Soft Water 2024. Put your hands together for John Coletti.
It is amazing to be here. And I am so thrilled that Nicole has been announced as the director. I've known Nicole working in this space for decades. And it's a true testament to the journey she's just manifested. So, love you, Nicole. Poem. Your face, then not. No flowers. Little checkerboards. Feathering out. No flowers today. Sleep when you don't, because the gentleness in your throat keeps the snow dry. Beside our scribbled lashes, being quiet enough for you to be successful and tell me so. Poem. Just cold air with its rose surgically removed. Listening to Ronnie Spector sing a Johnny Thunders song. Trying to evade all the weaponized piranhas of a full moon, and soon an eclipsing one. The light of my steps is not present. Let's talk soon. I might be falling in love. My shyness, dear to me, has never been academic. Only my impatience. New tissue, grown slowly, and my ability to wait for so very long. Where is the other side of any ocean without you? Poem. We only have each other and everyone else.
Just want an invitation to anybody in the back. There is some room in the risers, so if you have room next to you in the risers, could you kind of like make that room and maybe signal so people in the back can come join you? Thank you. And part of the reason why it's so packed in here is because we love this event and we love this tradition, and also because we love the Poetry Project, right? And part of the reason, yeah. And I know for me, part of the reason why I'm so devoted to the Poetry Project is because they, like all cultural organizations with any ethics, endorse the Palestinian academic cultural boycott of Israel. And for that, we will be devoted to you forever, among many other reasons. Okay, next up, please join me in welcoming Hopinka, a OHYUNG, yes, a Ho-Chunk and Pachanga artist and filmmaker living in Brooklyn. Please give Sky a warm round of applause.
Thank you. It's good to be here. It's good to see you, Morgan. This is called Denizens of Hell. Underneath a flower, beneath the moons, between figures of the land and sea, sit the dead watching and waiting for joy and rebirth. Ours and theirs and those who have captured a spark and a pang and a pain sit faithfully abated while in cages of white particle board. Light blindingly fluorescent breathes air stagnant and dead, giving permanence and pain, not known since the early day of life. Like when we were young and full of fearlessnesses of futures, long distant and unknown and far away. Where we thought we'd lay, we lie no more. When we thought we'd rest, instead we're hurried towards an end that is damned and damning. Unforgiven souls sing hymns without worry of sacraments and sin. Your worry is not our own. Your worry erodes pressures pressed by hands arthritic and aching, stiff and alone. You are the prayer and the passenger met when ghost songs summon you. Here is a circle, and there is a circle. And these are the pines and the cedars encircling a dance, circling a time without gaze, and a time without eyes glazed over, emptied of sorrow and complex pleasures of years well lived. We arrive at the gates guarded by wind-burned skins, waving us in through a break in the trees. Driving down the road, winding down the path, ambling past tents lit from within by electric lanterns forming patterns of light like idols, nascent and adrift. Where's the sound heard drumming on the radio? Where's the sound heard beating from the outside? Where are the dancers dancing anymore? The sun sinks down and we leave behind the sundowners afraid of the dark and the blues moody and storming close by. Close your mouth. What escapes you'll wait to get back. Close your eyes unless the sight of the night reminds you of the ancestor you once were. Say hello to your old friends. Say hello to the girl-hopping dead and the terrestrial denizens of a defiant hell, manifesting a future free above a subterranean moon. Passenger ghost, come dance with me. Down and out on the road of life and death. And I'll ask, can you find a movement? Can you find a movement that reminds me of you? Can you find a movement that moves like it was? Can you find a movement that moved you down beats? Can you find a movement that you feel in your fingers, that you feel in your toes? Can you find a movement in the heart and in the dark of an evening and the chest of the dust? Can you find a movement that makes you move like our language, languid and slow? And you say to me this, do you speak what you mean? Do you speak quickly when there's nothing left to say? Do you speak quietly when everything that there is to hear has been heard? Do you speak to yourself when there's no one left that knows what you mean? They don't know anyone. They don't know where you come from. They don't even say ha-ho. Hurt is the moment where you feel withdrawn. Hurt is the hunger you tighten your belt around. Hurt is the sting of your unpeeled skin. Hurt is the reason you leave in the end. And here we are laughing. And here we are laughing. Again and again. Let yourself go and let yourself free and let yourself out, because at the end, it's you and it's me. The you and the me and the we choose when there's no one left, when the bodies are hot, when the bones are dry, gone buried and dug up, taken from the light underneath and above. When we're done wandering, I'll bear you again, passenger ghost, at a fork in the river where the red oaks grow. Make yourself a lodge in preparation for a long winter. We'll say hello, and you've done good for me, and I'll see you sometime soon. Sometime soon when the laughs are loud and when Auntie is loud, when we're singing trashy songs loud and we're talking about the old way loud and it's all loud and you're loud, and when finally there's nothing left to bloom. It's time to go. We've got to go into that dark and dinky nights. Quiet again, and it's quiet again, and it's quiet for you on the Mississippi, on the Illinois, overlooking bluffs writ red with the clay of your skin and the dust of your voice. Thank you.
To anybody in the back who wants some space, there's actually this whole floor space. So if you don't want to be in the mosh pit, come down here into the. Yeah, also that. Okay, great. Next up, we are very pleased to welcome to the stage OHYUNG. OHYUNG is a musician and film composer under the name Leah OHYUNG Rusli, most recently writing music for the films Happy End, Problemista, and the TV show Fantasmas. Please join me in welcoming to the stage OHYUNG.
Check. Hi, I'm OHYUNG. This performance is dedicated to my trans family who teaches me how to live every day, and to the love of my life.
I love to paint so much. I'd paint all day until I fell asleep right at my easel. And then one day, for some reason, I just couldn't paint anymore. I tried and tried, but nothing I did seemed any good. They were copies of paintings I'd seen somewhere before. And not very good copies either. I just felt like I'd lost my ability.
That sounds like me.
It's exactly the same. But then I found the answer. You see, I hadn't figured out what or why I wanted to paint. I had to discover my own style. When you fly, you rely on what's inside of you, don't you?
Uh-huh. We fly with our spirit.
Trusting your spirit, yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That same spirit is what makes me paint and makes your friend bake. But we each need to find our own inspiration, Kiki. Sometimes it's not easy.
I guess I never gave much thought to why I wanted to do this. I got so caught up in all the training and stuff. Maybe I have to find my own inspiration. But am I ever gonna find it? And is it worth all the trouble?
Well, for example, there were quite a few times when I thought of painting something over that painting.
But it ended up being so great.
So I guess it's worth it.
Give it up for OHYUNG and all the amazing readers and performers in this hour. We have reached the end of this hour. And before I bring up the amazing host of this next hour, Patricia Spears-Jones, who's an amazing legend, we want to first just honor the people in the Poetry Project, some of the people in the Poetry Project community who we've lost over this past year, since January 1st, 2024. Paul Auster, Cecilia Gentili, Nikki Giovanni, Lynn Haginian, Gary Indiana, Ken Jordan, Lorraine O'Grady, Jerome Rothenberg, and Tyrone Williams. We continue in your legacy, and we extend our grief to every single person whose life was cut short, the people of Palestine and Lebanon and Syria and Yemen at the hands of U.S. imperial aggression and Zionist colonization. And in their honor of all those whose lives have been lost, we will fight for a free Palestine. Please join me in welcoming Patricia Spears-Jones, the host of the next hour, who is the author of The Beloved Community and 9 other poetry publications, the current New York State poet and former program coordinator of the Poetry Project. Please give Patricia Spears-Jones a warm welcome.